بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. This is Math 101 Final Exam Term 222. Let us have a look and solve the exam together. Well, we have first 14 questions, multiple choice. So the first question, let AX equals B, where A inverse is given and B is given, find the matrix X. Whenever we have this equation, matrix equation, we can solve it for X by multiplying by A inverse from both sides. So A inverse times A would be I times X would be X, and here we have A inverse times B. So the solution of this equation would be X equals A inverse times B. Well, A inverse is given, B is given. Now we need to multiply A inverse times B. So we have A inverse 3 by 3 matrix. B is 3 by 1, 3 rows, 1 column. So the answer would be 3 by 1. So the first row multiply by the column, the only column in B. 1 times 1 plus 2 times 2, that's 5. 0 times 3 is 0, of course. 0 times 1 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 2 times 3, 2 plus 6, that's 8. 4 times 1, 4 plus 2, 6 plus 3, 9. So the answer is 5, 8, 9. That's part D. How to find F circle G? Okay. F circle G by definition is equal to F of G of X. And then we find F of G of X by writing G of X, the definition of the inside function. What is G of X? Well, G of X is X to the power 4. So now we need to find F of X to the power 4. How to find that? We go to the definition of F of X. Well, this is F of X. If I ask you what is F of 2, you will replace X by 2. So I'm asking what is F of X to the power 4. So you should replace X by X to the power 4. So the answer would be 3 times X to the power 4 instead of X plus 1. And that's part A. How many 5-digit numbers? How many digits are there? Well, we have 10 digits, but I think this has nothing to do with the question. How many 5-digit numbers? So a number consists of 5 digits, can be formed from these digits. Okay, how many digits are there? 2, 4, 6, 7. So we have 7 digits, and we need to choose 5 of them. Well, should we use combination or permutation? Okay, C or P? Well, is the order important or not? If you choose 5 digits out of these 7 and another 5 digits, they will be equal or different? Of course, different, because they will form different numbers. Every 5-digit number, you get a different number. So the order here of numbers is important because we are forming a number, so we use P. Permutations. So you can use the calculator and find C7P5. It is there. 7P is there in the calculator. In my calculator, it is above the product. C7P5, and the answer is 2520. So that's the answer to the question. The slope of the perpendicular line to this line. Okay. So we need to find the equation of the perpendicular line, or we find the slope of this line, and then we can find the slope of the perpendicular line without finding the equation of the perpendicular line. So how to find the slope of this line? Well, one way is to write it as y equals mx plus b, write it in this form. So I will take 1 over 4x to the other side, -9, +9, take it to the other side, it would be -9, and there is a -2, so I'll have -11. and this, then I divide by 3. So if you divide by 3 or multiply by 1 over 3, both the same, give you the same answer. So 1 over 3 times negative 11 over 3. So this is the equation, same equation, if you write it in this form, mx plus b. And you can see that the slope is the coefficient of x, which is 1 over 12. So what is 1 over 12? It is the slope of this line, the given line, but we need the slope of the perpendicular line. So what is the relation between the slope of the perpendicular line and the slope of this line? Well, if you have this slope, you need to find the reciprocal. So 1 over 12, it would be 12 over 1, and then you multiply by a negative sign. So the slope of the perpendicular line would be negative 12 over 1, and that's negative 12. So this is part C. Question 5. The profit function for a firm making widgets, okay, is given by this. So what is this? This equation is the profit function. Okay. Find the number of units at which the maximum profit is achieved. Well, if you look to this equation, this is a quadratic equation. And the graph of a quadratic equation is a parabola. And there is the coefficient of x squared is negative, so you should know that the graph of this equation is in fact a parabola opens downwards like this. So he needs the number of units at which the maximum profit is achieved. Well, here at this point, this will give you the maximum profit. This is the vertex of the parabola, so we always call it h and k, hk. So the maximum profit is k, and it will happen at h. H will be the number of units. So the answer to the question would be h. What is h? This is the number of units at which the maximum profit is achieved, h. There is a definition for h. It is negative b over 2a. There is a formula to calculate h, negative b over 2a. So h would be, what is a? A is negative 1. What is b? 132. So negative b would be negative 132 over 2 times negative 1, that's negative 2. Negative over negative is positive. 132 over 2 is 66. So the answer is part B. If A is a 5 by 3 matrix, B 4 by 5, C is 4 by 3, then one of the following operations are defined. Okay. Now, B here for part A, B is 4 by 5. A times C, A is 5 by 3. And we need to multiply by C, C 4 by 3. These two matrices cannot be, the product is not defined because here we have 3 and here we have 4. 3 columns, 4 rows, that's not possible. So A is not correct. C times A, okay. C 4 by 3 times A, what is A? 5 by 3. This is not possible because 3 is not equal to 5. BC, okay, B is 4 by 5. C is 5 by 3. So that's good. The answer would be 4 by 3. Then minus A, what is A? A is 5 by 3. This is not good because if you subtract two matrices, you cannot subtract matrices with different size, okay? So this is not correct. What about this one? B times A, okay, B 4 times 5. A is 5 times 3. That's good, we can multiply, and the result for a matrix would be 4 times 4 by 3. Okay, minus C, what is C? C is also 4 by 3. That's good. We will be able to evaluate this operation is defined, and the answer is part D. The solution set of this equation is, let us solve the equation. Okay, so 8 plus 2 times x plus 2 times 2 is 4. On the other side, 4 times 3x, 12x. 4 minus 7, that's negative 28 minus 2x. Okay, so I have here 2x plus 8 plus 4 is 12. And on the other side, I have 12x minus 2x, that's 10x minus 25. Now let me take x to one side, so take 10x to the other side. So 2x minus 10x would be negative 8x. And here I have negative 28 minus 12, that's minus 40. So x would be negative 40 over negative 8, and that's 5. So the answer is 5. The value of x is equal to, well, when you add these two matrices, they should be equal to this matrix. If you look carefully here, we don't have x. We have x only here, okay, and here. So let me form this equation. 3 times x plus minus x, so minus x, equals 8z, equals this one. So 2x equals 8z. To find the value of x, I need to find the value of z. Well, if you look here, we have z here, okay? So 3 times z plus 3z is equal to 18. So 6z is 18, means z is 18 over 6, which is 3. So 2x equals 8z. This means x equals, if you divide by 2, 8 over 2, 4 times z. If z is 3, then 4 times z would be 12. So the answer is 12. How long will it take $2,000 to grow up to $4,100 in a bank investment at 15% simple interest? Well, simple interest, the formula is the interest is equal to PRT. So what is the interest? How to find the interest? Well, the interest is the difference between the future value and the principal. So 4,100 minus 2,000, this will give you I. So I is 4,100 minus 2,000. This is the interest earned. So it's 2,100. So 2,100 is equal to P, the principal, which is $2,000. If you take it, how long will it take? $2,000. So that's the principal times R. What is R? R is 0.15, 15% times T, okay? So we need to find T, how long? So what is T? T would be 2,100 divided by 0.15 times 2,000. If you use the calculator, you will find that the answer is 7 years, okay? Just use the calculator to divide 2,100 over 2,000 times 0.15. The answer is 7 years. Let E and F be independent events, okay? Well, P, probability of E is given, probability of F is given. What is the probability of the intersection? Well, if E and F are independent events, then the probability of E intersection F is the probability of E times probability of F. This is a formula. So probability of E is 0.4 times 0.3. So multiply 0.4 times 0.3. The answer is 0.12. So the answer is D. The inverse of this matrix is, well, how to find the inverse of a matrix? There is a formula. If you call it A inverse would be 1 over AD minus BC. So 4 times 8, that's 32, minus 2 times 16. And 2 times 16 is 32. So it is 0. So 4 times 8, 32, minus 32, 0. So 1 over 0 is not defined. So there is no inverse. The matrix is not invertible. It has no inverse because the determinant of the matrix is 0. The number below here is called the determinant of the matrix. How much money should be invested now? So he's asking about P, the principal. At 4% per annum, this is R.04. So that after 2 years, that's T. The amount will be, so that's the future value as when the interest is compounded monthly. Okay, the formula for compoundedness. S equals P times 1 plus R over M to the power R M times T or M times T. That's the formula. Okay, so S is equal to future value. It is 10,000. That's given in the question. Okay, equals the principal. What is the principal? He's asking about it. How much money should be invested? So the principal we need to find times 1 plus what is R 0.04 over M. M compounded monthly means how many times a year? 12. So number of per year 12. And here M is 12 times T. T is 2 years. So you can find P by the calculator. You can divide 10,000 by all of this number. Okay, you put it in the calculator and put it here and find the answer, and you will find that the answer is 9232. This one. So that's the principle. Standard license plates in Egypt consist of 3 letters, good, of the alphabet followed by 3 digits. Okay, so we have 3 letters, 1, 2, 3, and we follow that by 3 numbers. Okay, how many possible license plates? We think like this. How many possibilities are there for the first digit? It's a letter. How many letters are there? 26, so 26. What about the second digit? How many possibilities are there? Well, it's again 26. The repetition is allowed. Okay, he didn't say here anything whether the repetition is not allowed. So the repetition is there, and here also 26. You can choose any letter in the first digit, second digit, third digit, and here 10, 10, 10, because there are 10 digits from 0 to 9, 10 numbers. So if you multiply 26 to the power 3 times 10 to the power 3, you will find that the answer is this one. Part B is the correct answer. A bag contains 8 white balls, 4 red balls, and 6 black balls. If 3 balls are drawn at random from the bag, what is the probability that the first 2 balls are red and the third is black? So we need red, red, then black. We need this better, okay? So the probability of having a red is how many red balls are there? 4. What is the total number of balls? 8 plus 4, 12 plus 6, 18. So the probability that the first ball is red is 4 over 18. It happened without replacement. So we do not put back the ball, the red ball we chose in the first round. Now, what is the probability that the second ball is also red? Well, we have 3 balls now because 1 red is selected, and 17 balls because 1 ball is selected. Now, the third ball, for the third ball, we need it to be black. How many black balls are there? 6, because we did not select any black ball yet, and the number of balls is 16. Now, if you use the calculator, multiply this, you will get that. You will get the answer, which is 1 over 68. So that's the correct answer. Use the inverse matrix to solve this system. Well, the inverse matrix, the one he asked about in the multiple choice questions, if you have AX equals B, then X would be A inverse times B. So we can write this system in this form. What is A? A, the matrix of coefficients. So here x here, y here, z. What are the coefficients of x in the first equation? 1, 1, second equation, third equation. Or you can write it by equation. The first row represents the first equation. So x has coefficient 1, y1, z1, whatever you like. X here has coefficient 1, there is no y, and 0 has coefficient -1. Here x1, y has coefficient -1, and z is 1. So this is the matrix A. When you multiply by x, x are the unknowns, x, y, z, the matrix of unknowns. This would be equal to B, which is 3, 0, 1, the matrix of constants. Now to solve this equation, this is A, this is X, this is B. To solve this equation, you need to find A inverse, okay? So from here, X would be A inverse times B, okay? A inverse times B. And we need to find A inverse and to multiply by B to get the answer. Well, B is 301. But what about A inverse? So let us find A inverse. How to find A inverse? The method we have is we write A, the matrix A, and then we put a vertical bar and we write the identity matrix. And then we use row operations to choose this matrix to the left to the identity. When we change this matrix to identity, the matrix to the right would be A inverse. To do that, we have 1 here up, so we need to change these two numbers to zeros. So negative R1 plus R2 and negative R1 plus R3. Now I will have the first row as it is without any change. But now, -1 plus 1, that's 0. -1 plus 0, that's -1. -1 plus -1, that's -2. -1 plus 0, and this is 0, so it doesn't change anything because we multiply 0 by any number, we still have 0. And we add it to the next number, so it would be the next number. Okay, here again, -1 plus 1, 0. -1 plus -1, that's -2. -1 plus 1, that's 0. -1 plus 0, and here there is no change. Now the next step, we need -1 to be 1. So I multiply by -1. So I will have 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, and 0, -2, 0, -1, 0, 1. And now, this is the new matrix. I need these two numbers to be zeros, the 1 and the -2. So using this one, this is the leading one. So negative R2 plus R1 will make this number 0. And 2R2 plus R3 will make the -2 0. And I would have the following matrix. So the row here is not changing. It is the second row. I'm using it to change the first and the third row. This is 0, so it doesn't change anything. I have here also 2 zeros, so it will not change anything, okay, because I will multiply 0 by a number, it will remain 0. Okay, now -1 plus 1, that's 0. -2 plus 1, that's -1. -1 plus 1, that's 0. -1 plus 1, okay. 2 plus -2, that's 0. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 0, that's 4. 2 times 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. Now, the second column is good. Now, the last column, I need to divide row 3 by 4 because I need to get 1 here instead of 4. So I will have this matrix 1, 0, -1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1 over 4, 0, 1 over 4. Now, in my opinion, you can stop here and use the calculator to find A inverse. You can find A inverse using the calculator. Well, if the calculator tells you that the last row of A inverse is 1 over 4, 0, 1 over 4, then you are in the correct way. Okay, so you can continue here. If not, then go back and check where is the mistake. Okay, so 1 over 4, 0, 1 over 4, that's A inverse. Well, I checked by the calculator and I found that there is a problem. Let me check by the calculator. How would you check by the calculator? You go to the matrix mode and you choose 1, for example, 3 by 3, and you write the numbers 1, 1, 1, and then 1, 0, negative 1, and then 1, negative 1, 1. And then you press on and you go shift 4, shift matrices. You choose, we need A inverse. So you choose the matrix A and you write inverse. You use the button with X inverse and you ask for the answer. Well, the answer, the last row is 1 over 4, 0, 1 over 4. So not 0, I mean negative half. So there is a problem. I have problem. This number shouldn't be 0. So where is my mistake? I'll go back to check again quickly, 1, 1, 1. Okay, here, negative R1 plus R2, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. This is my problem, okay? Negative R1 plus R3, negative 1 plus minus 1, that's negative 2, good. And then this is 1, okay, and this is 2 minus 2, it would be 0. There is no problem here, okay? There is a problem here in this number, okay, this 0. All right, negative R1, negative R1 plus R3, here, negative, okay, it doesn't change anything here. Then here, negative R2, doesn't change anything. Then negative, it's strange, negative R2 plus R1. Also, this is 0. Oh, here, 0, 1, 0. Negative R1 plus R2, this is 1. This is 1. This is not 0. It is 1. Because I multiplied R1 by negative 1 and added to R2. So negative 0 plus 1, this is 1. Okay. So if this is 1, now when I multiply by minus sign, it would be negative 1. So this is negative 1. And then negative R2 plus R1. So 1, this would be 1. This would be 1. And this is negative 1. And 2R2 plus R3, 2R2, negative 2, sorry, 2R2, 2 times R2, negative 2 plus 0, so this is negative 2. Sorry, this is negative 2. And here, negative R2 plus R1, so 1. So this is 1. Now, when I divide by 4, I'll have 4, 1 over 4, and negative 2 over 4 is negative half. So the answer here is negative half. So this is how do you find your mistake and make sure your answer is correct. Okay, now I have to get rid of this 2 negative 1. I have to change them to zeros. So I will use this one, which is the leading one in column 3. So negative 2R3 plus R2 and R3 plus R1 plus R1. So the new matrix will be, of course, this row is not changing anymore now. And I have zeros here, so there is no change here. Now, negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 2 times 1 over 4, that's negative half, plus 1, that's half. Negative 2 times negative half is 1 plus 0, that's 1. Negative 2 plus 1 over 4, that's negative half plus 0, that's negative half. And I can check with the calculator that the answer is 0.5, 0, negative 0.5. This should be 0. Yeah, I hear negative 1. I forgot to change this to negative 1. This is negative 1 here. So now negative 2 times negative half is 1 minus 1 will give you 0. So this is 0. Half, 0, negative half. Good. Then R3 plus R1, 1 minus 1 will give you 0. 1 over 4 plus 0 is 1 over 4. Negative half plus 0, negative 1 over 2. 1 over 4 plus 0 is 1 over 4. And if I check the calculator, I have half here. It is not negative half. So what is wrong? R3 plus R1. Yeah, here it's not 0, it's 1. This is 1, so it should be here 1. A lot of mistakes. I'm sorry for that, but it was nice in my opinion. Negative half plus 1 is positive. To check that, how can you find your mistakes and use the calculator to help you. 1 over 4, 1 over 2, 1 over 4, 1 over 2, 0, negative 1 over 2, 1 over 4, negative half, 1 over 4. That's a inverse from the calculator, and now by my calculation too, so I can go back and write it here and find the answer. So 1 over 4, 1 over half, one over 4, and then half, 0, negative half, and then 1 over 4, negative half, 1 over 4. So the answer would be 3 over 4 plus 1 over 4, 4 over 4, which is 1. 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2, that's 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2, 2 over 2, which is again 1. 3 over 4 plus 1 over 4, that's again 1. So that's the value of x. That's the answer, okay? He said, use the inverse to solve the system. Well, I can say at the end that the solution set consists of the vector 1 or the point, the triple, order triple, 1, 1, 1, that's the solution. And I can also check now that my answer is correct. I can use mod 5 to put this system in the calculator and make sure that the answer is really 1, 1, 1. If the cost function is this one and the revenue is 4x, graph the cost function and the revenue function. Well, this is a straight line. So let us graph. This is x and this is cx. I can start from 0 because x is the number of units. So the number of units, the minimum could be 0. So if x is 0, cx is 50, and c is 50. If I go, let me check now, 0, 50. So I should choose unit measure, unit of measure which is suitable for me. So 50, there is no enough space here. So I'll choose 20 by 20 or 25 by 25. If this is 25, then this is 50, and this is the point 0 and 50. Okay, this is 50. So what about the x here? Let me go 10 by 10, for example. So this would be 10, this would be 20. So I can ask for 20 if you like. So x is 20 or 10, whatever. If x is 20, I'll have 40 plus 50, that's 90. So this is 50, this is 75, this is 100. So 90 would be somewhere here. At 20, it's 90, somewhere here. So let me check 25, for example. 2 times 25, 100 plus 100, that's 25. 50 plus 50, that's 100. So I have 100 here. So at 2.5, it is here. So this would be, this function is the cost function. is a straight line, and you start from 0. Well, the revenue function, you do the same. You start with 0, so 0, 0, because 4 times 0 is 0. So you start by 0, 0, and you go on. You can check at 10. Well, at 10 it is 40. 40 is not one of these. So it's okay. You can. This is 40 something like here. Okay. The 20 you will get 80. 25, if you put 25, 4 times 25 will give you 100. So it's the same point, which is this point. This point. So the profit function passes through this point also, which is, of course, it's not like this. It should go like this. Okay. So it's a straight line. So this is the profit function. P, not the profit, sorry, the revenue function. So you just add, make it up, revenue function. And this point, the point of intersection, the point where Rx equals Cx, is in fact the break-even point. Graph the cost function and the revenue, that's the graph. Find the profit function. Okay, the definition of the profit function, it is equal to the revenue minus the cost. Okay, so the revenue is 4x, and the cost is 2x plus 50. 4x minus 2x is 2x minus 50, because minus will be distributed. So that's the profit function, 2x minus 50. Find the break-even point. You have different ways to find the break-even point. Either you put Rx equals Cx, and you will find the answer 2,500, or also you can put the profit function equals to 0, because Rx equals Cx means Px equals to 0. So 2x minus 50 is 0, 2x is 50, x is 25, so 25, that's x, and if you put it in R here, 4 times 25 is 100. If you put it here in C, also 2 times 25, 50 plus 50, that's 100. So the break-even point is 25 and 100. The graph of the feasible region of the objective function is given. Find the maximum and minimum values of the objective function and the point at which it exists. Well, to find the maximum and minimum values, this means we put the corner points, find the corner points, and substitute them in z, which is 40x plus 30y, to find which corner point will give you the highest value of z and the smallest value of z. So I have 0, 0, that's a corner point. If you put it here, you get 0, because you replace x by 0 and y by 0. Okay. What is next? 8, 0, for example. This is also a corner point. This is a corner point. 8, 0. Well, 8 times 40, that's 320. Okay, 6, 4 also is a corner point. Well, 6 times 40, that's 240 plus 120, so that's 360. And the last corner point, 0, 10. So 10 times 300, that's 10 times 30, sorry, is 300. So these are the Z values. And the maximum, it's clear that the maximum is this one, and the minimum is this one. So you can say minimum value is 0 at 0, 0, and maximum value is 360 at 6, 4. So that's the answer. If the supply function for a commodity is given by this equation, okay, so this is the supply, and demand function, so this is the demand, find the equilibrium quantity and the equilibrium price. Well, equilibrium means supply equals demand. So Q squared plus 7Q plus 16 equals negative 3q squared plus 5q plus 4, 3, 6. This is a quadratic equation. You take everything to the left-hand side. Q squared plus 3q squared, this would be 4q squared. 7q minus 5q, this would be 2q. 16 minus 4, 3, 6. 16 minus 4, 3, 6 would be negative 420. You can use the calculator to solve this equation. Or if I divide by 2, I'll have 2q squared plus q minus 210 equals to 0. Okay, and then I can try to factor it, or you can just use the calculator to answer. I have 210 over, okay, I need two numbers. Their product is 210, and their sum is 1 or something like this. This is question 5. I'll have maybe there is, okay, 2q and q. Well, I have 10 times 21. If I put 10 here and 21 here, I'll have 21q and 20 here. Good. I need it to be plus, so I'll put plus here and minus here. So 21q minus 20, that's 1q. Okay, that's the factorization. So I have two possibilities. Either q is 10 or 2q plus 21 is 0. So q is negative 21 over 2. Okay. And that's not accepted, that's rejected, because quantity cannot be negative. Okay, quantity cannot be negative. So the question, find the equilibrium quantity. So equilibrium quantity is 10. Well, what is the equilibrium price? So I put it either in the first, in the demand, or in the supply. I should get the same answer. Okay, so if you put it in the supply, for example, then q squared is 100 plus 7 times 10, that's 70, plus 16, so 186. So this is the equilibrium price. If you want to write it in a point, then the equilibrium quantity is 10, the equilibrium price is 186, and this is the equilibrium point. But you don't need to do that, because he just asked for equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price. A coin is tossed 3 times in succession, and the radius, the results are observed. If you toss a coin 3 times, first time you will get a head or tail. If you get head in the first time, the second time you also get head or tail. And here you also get head or tail. Also here, the third time you will get head or tail, head or tail. Okay, this is a tree diagram. And from the tree diagram, you can find out the sample space. Well, the sample space would be, the first result would be H coming from here, H. So H in the first, H in the second, H in the third, and then HT, and then HTH, and then HTT, and then THH, and then THT. So I'm reading from the tree diagram, TTT or TTH first. It doesn't matter, and TTT. How many possibilities? 8. You should have 2 to the power 3 possibilities. So if you toss a coin 4 times, it would be 2 to the power 4, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. The probability of the event E, that at least one head occur. So what is the probability of E? E means at least one head occur. At least one head means a head or 2 heads, or 3 heads. At least one head. So 1, 2, 3 are possible. So if you look here to the sample space, all events have 1H, 2H, or 3Hs, except this one, T. So he's asking about probability of E, which means all of these 7. So the answer is 7/8, okay? H1, H2, H3, H, you count all of them, you have 7, and the total is 8, so 7/8. Probability of the event F. What is the event F? At least one tail occurs. Again, all of them has 1, 2, or 3 tails, except this one, H. So the probability of F is also 7/8. E union F. Well, let us find E union F would be the probability of E plus probability of F minus probability of E intersection F. So probability of E is 7/8. Probability of F is 7/8. And what is the probability of the intersection? Intersection means at least one head or at least one tail. Okay, so what would you have in the intersection? You have 7 here, 7 outcomes, and you have here 7 outcomes. H is in E, but it is not in the intersection. And T is in E, but it is not in the intersection. So how many events are the intersection? Actually, 6. Okay, these events are in the intersection. So 6/8 is the probability of the intersection. I have 14 minus 7 plus 7 is 14 minus 6, that's 8. 8/8 is 1. So the probability of E union F is 1. Are the events E and F mutually exclusive? And the answer is no. And why? Because E intersection F is not 5, okay? Or because probability of E intersection F is not 0. We found that the probability of E intersection F is 6/8. It's not 0. So it is not, they are not mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means like this. There is no intersection between them. But of course, there are 6 outcomes in the intersection, so they are not mutually exclusive. A card is drawn from a box containing 25 cards, numbered from 1 to 25. Okay. What is the probability that the card is odd and divisible by 5? So we have to think here, how many numbers are odd and divisible by 5? Okay. We can call it odd, we can call it odd, and means intersection, divisible by 5, you can call it D. Okay. So how many odd numbers? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, up to 25. These are all odd. Which of them is divisible by 5? Only 5, 10, and 15, isn't it? 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. But which of them is odd? 10 and 20 are not odd, so I have 5, 15, and 25. So odd and divisible by 5. I have only 5, 15, and 25. 3 outcomes, and the total number of outcomes is 25. So that's the probability. Odd or divisible by 5. Well, you can think how many numbers, odd or divisible by 5. Well, or you can find the probability of odd or union divisible, and you can do it like this: probability of odd plus probability of divisible by 5 minus probability of the intersection. You can think of it in different ways. So probability of odd, how many odd numbers? I have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25. So 13 numbers are odd. Divisible by 5, I have these 5, 10, 15, 25. These are 5. Intersection is 3, as we found in the previous part. So 18 minus 3, 13 plus 5 is 18 minus 3. That's 15 over 25. So this is the probability of odd or divisible by 5. Okay. Odd numbers, if you count the odd numbers, yes, 13 numbers. Not odd. Okay. Not odd, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So 5 plus 5, 10 plus 2, 12. So probability of not odd is 12 over 25. That's the probability of not odd. And this is the answer of question 7. Question 8. What is the future value if this is the principal, if 7,500 invested in for 12 years, so this is T, 9%, this is R.09, compounded semi-annually twice a year. Semi-annually means twice a year. The formula, as we mentioned before, is this one, R over M, here M times T. He is asking future value, so for S. P is 7,500 times 1 plus R is 0.09 over M twice a year, 2 times 12 years. If you use the calculator and calculate this, you will find that the answer is 21,570.103. Okay, I can check that 7.5. Check it again because hopefully I minimize the number of mistakes. Because doing mistakes is usually, 21,570.1037, so this would be 4. Okay. Good. Use the simplex method to maximize the subject to the constraints. Well, the first idea, the first step, is to change each inequality to an equation. So we write it 14x plus 7y plus S1. You introduce the first slack variable equals 28. And here 5x plus 5y plus slack variable 2 equals 40. And for the objective function, you bring everything to the left-hand side. So 3x, bring it there to be negative 20y plus f equals to 0. And then I write the first table. So I have x, y, s1, s2, f, and the right-hand side. These are the coefficients. So I have, in the first equation, the coefficients are 14, 7, 1, 0, 0, 28. In the second equation, I have 5, 5, 0. Coefficient of S2 is 1. There is no F. And 40. And the last row is called the objective row. And the numbers are negative 3, negative 20, 0, 0, 1, and 0. So this is called the initial tableau. Now we have to find the pivot element, and we do a pivoting operation. How to do that? We divide here the number in the right-hand side, 28, by this is the most negative number in the objective row. We have negative 3, negative 20, which is smaller, negative 20. So this would be the pivot column. And to find the pivot element, we divide 28 by 7. That's 4. And 40 by 5. 40 by 5. That's 8. 4 is smaller, so this number is the pivot element. So we do what? First, we start by dividing by 7. So I'll have 14 over 7, that's 2, and then 1 over 7, 0, 0. 28 over 7, that's 4. And these rows remains the same. This is not a tableau. I still have 0 and 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 14, 2, 1, 1 over 7, 0, 0. That's 3. There's none. I have 5 columns already. Okay, then 5, 5, 0, 1, 0, good. And I have 40 here. Okay. And I have here negative 3, negative 20, 0, 0, 1, and 0. This is not a tableau because I did not change these numbers to 0. Once I make this one, I have to change these numbers to 0 to get the new tableau. So the new tableau would be X, Y, S1, S2, F, and right hand side. Okay. So the first row is there without change. But now I need to change the second row. So how? Negative 5R1 plus R2 multiplied by the negative 5 to make this number 0. So negative 5 plus 5, that's 0. Negative 5 times 2, negative 10 plus 5, that's negative 5. Negative 5 times 1 over 7 plus 0, that's negative 5 over 7. 0, 0 will not change these numbers. Negative 5 times 4, negative 20 plus 40, that's 20. So this is the new second row. The third row, how can I get it? I multiply the first row by 20, and then I add by row 3, because this is negative 20. So 20 times 2 is 40, minus 3, that's 37. So there is no negative number here. And 20 minus 20, that's 0. That's good. So 20 over 7 plus 0. Okay, so this is 20 over 7. And zeros will not change anything. And 20 times 4, that's 80 plus 0. So I have 80. And since there is no negative numbers in the objective row anymore, so this is a final tableau. So this tableau is final. And from this tableau, I can answer the question. The question says, maximize F. So maximum value of F would be, we put S1 0, we put X 0 here because they are not, they don't have 1 0 0 like Y and S2. We put them zeros, so we find that F is 80. So here the coefficient of F is 1, so 1 equals 80. So the maximum value of F is the number here, which is 80. And it occurs at, well, X is not a basic variable because it doesn't have 1 0 0. So you just put it 0. But for Y, it's a basic variable because we have 1 here. So 1, if you put X 0, S1 0, you get 1 equals 4. So 1Y equals 4. So Y is 4. To check our solution, if X is 0 and Y is 4, we will get F20. Sorry, 4 times 20, that's 80. So that's the correct answer. Well, this was the last question. I hope that you enjoyed watching the solution, and good luck.